Student t-test for paired or dependent or related samples in Jamovi. Student t-test is, or the paired t-test is, a parametric test that can be used when there are two samples or two groups of data that are related or paired, and to perform the test certain assumptions have to be fulfilled. The first assumption is that the data in each group is normally distributed. The second assumption is that the data should be continuous. And the third assumption is that the difference between the pairs is approximately normally distributed. And finally, this difference does not have outliers in it. And the objective of this test is to find out whether there is a difference between the two paired groups. Here in Jamovi data view, I had placed a data for 50 participants, and the aims of this research study is to investigate the effect of a new drug on lowering the systolic blood pressure. So we have here two variables. Each participant was participated in the two measurement or reading. At a time of 0, when the drug was not given, the systolic blood pressure was measured, and that variable is called untreated. Then the same participant were given the drug and the systolic blood pressure was measured. So each participant were measured for systolic blood pressure at two different time point or condition: on the 0 time of no drug, and then after administrating the drug. So here we have pre-treatment, post-treatment, and to find out whether there is a difference between the systolic blood pressure for the treated compared to untreated, then the paired t-test will be performed, as we have here paired data. And the way to do that in Jamovi is to click on t-test icon here, scroll down and select the paired samples t-test, and new window will appear, and we're going to move the two variables, the paired variable, into the box here in the right hand side, and promptly a table for paired sample t-test is generated, showing that the student t-test, the statistic value is 3.74, and the test is done for the two variables, degree of freedom 49, and the p-value is less than 0.05. So this data shows that there is a difference between the post-treatment compared to pre-treatment. We could also add additional statistics by ticking on the mean differences and the confidence interval 95%, and these additional values are added to the table here. The paired t-test, the mean difference is equal to 8.1, so that means the systolic blood pressure is reduced by 8.1, and the standard error difference is 2.16, and the confident 95% confidence interval have a lower and upper value, and the lower value is 3.75 and the upper 12.4, and the mean difference is falling between these two values, and the value for the upper and lower is not crossing the 0 value. So this add additional layer of confirming that there is a statistical significant difference between the treated and untreated. We could also add to the output a descriptive table, and this descriptive table shows that there are 50 participants. The mean for the untreated for systolic blood pressure is 154 and for treated is 146, which means that the treated or the drug has lowered the systolic blood pressure compared to untreated. Standard deviation is also given here and standard error. We could also take on the descriptive plot here as shown for the untreated and treated. It shows the mean and the median. Mean is circular and the median is square. We could also take the assumptions for normality test, which is shown here, that the p-value is greater than 0.05. This shows that the difference between the untreated and treated is normally distributed as the p-value is greater than 0.05. We could also take on the QQ plot to generate a QQ plot showing that the small circles align along the diagonal line. So this is the way to perform paired samples t-test in Jamovi.